Just a quick note before we start this week's episode. There you go. Little music pun joke for you there. Welcome to the Failing Writers Podcast.
Somebody here has got some news.
Have they?
I saw that on our Twitter.
Yeah, some actual good news, some non-failing news.
What?
And it said that one of us has apparently got a piece in, what is it, the flash flood?
But who is it? Is it Dave?
Well, if it is me, no one's told me. And it would be very much like the Immaculate Conception, because I haven't written anything for it. So, doubt if it's me. Is it me?
No.
Oh.
Sad to hear that, Dave. Sad to hear that.
Well, that increases your odds, both of you, doesn't it?
It does.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Mathematically.
Could it be John? No, it's not me either. It's not me either.
Oh, that really increases your odds then, Tom.
I've got everything crossed, Dave.
Yeah.
It still seems unlikely.
A process of elimination.
Yeah.
It probably is you, Tom.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, you remember a few weeks back we set out our goals for the year, and one of my goals was to write some little flash fictions or poems and send them off to places. 5.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you said that you
I'd
had
done one,
one.
sent it off, and then I sent another one off
to
the Flash Flood. Yeah, so it's for nationalflashfictionday.co.uk, which, unsurprisingly, is a website that celebrates National Flash Fiction Day. So they do a thing called a Flash Flood, and it starts at midnight on the 15th of June, and then it goes on for 24 hours, and every 5 to 10 minutes for 24 hours, they post out online a flash fiction story.
Oh, nice.
And what I can only assume is pretty much prime time. Mine is going out at 2:30 in the morning, which I think is probably when they're thinking.
No,
I think
there'll
you're
be
right.
a lot of
good.
different time zones and stuff. I think that's
Yeah.
what they're thinking, that it's going to be the big market for, like, I don't know, America or
Yeah.
Japan or something.
That's the big time in radio, isn't it?
It is,
That's
because
like
yeah.
sort of the
because
top
there's
slot.
nothing else on at the time. So you're not
No,
competing with
it's-
anyone, are
Absolutely
you?
not.
So
people will
it's
be
all
flooding
you.
there.
yeah.
Yeah, so I wrote something, spent a bit of time doing it, sent it off, and then got rejected.
Oh, you get rejected that quickly?
Yeah, no, they do it. It's amazing, actually. It's literally sort of almost maximum 24 hours,
Blimey.
sometimes sooner.
Is that the quickest rejection you've ever had, Tom?
In terms of writing, yes, John. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought, well, I can't be asked writing another. And this was literally on the day that it was closing.
Of course.
On the Saturday.
How else would it work? Yeah.
And I thought, nah. I'm obviously I just haven't got the knack.
Yeah.
It's fair enough. And then I thought, I could, because it's under 300 words.
Yeah.
So it's only,
Just shit some out.
it's a 10-minute job, innit?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did pull one out of my writing orifice
Yeah.
and sent it off, and then got an email saying, yeah, we like it. You're in.
So you're either in or you're out.
Isn't it?
That's how it works. It's like a
Yeah, it's just
straightforward.
you're on the list, you're not on the list, whatever.
No rounds or anything.
No,
Wow, that's
no.
brilliant.
So yeah, so that's getting published, I guess. It's,
Congratulations, Tom. That is the first of our collective writing goals to have been achieved
yeah.
so far,
Yeah.
isn't it? So
Well, I did think about this. Interestingly, do you remember when we were setting the goals?
Yeah.
We said it's not about getting published or getting through to a final or winning something. It's about actually
just
sending it off.
being in the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually is why that got published. Because if I didn't have a list, I've got a little list of 5 things on my desk. And as I send something off, I write in, I've sent that one.
Yeah.
I've ticked it off. And by the end of the year, we're going to get at least 5 that have been sent off.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's under 300 words. This is an easy one to tick off number 3,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
So that'll be 3 things I've sent in.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I did it. That's half the reason I thought, yeah, that'll tick off. I've only got 2 left, 2 more failures to write for the rest of the year. And then these buggers sent one back going, yeah, all right, well, whatever.
Are you saying that
We'll put it
having
on.
goals actually helped then, Tom? Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is having achievable
Having useful
goals that
goals.
you are in
Achievable
that you are in control
yes,
of.
that's
the thing.
Mm.
That's the thing.
And do you think you would have written it differently had your goal been different? If your goal was to win something, do you think that would have affected how you actually wrote it or what you actually
I don't
wrote?
think I would have written that next one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think I would have written the one to send in that actually got chosen.
That's quite cool.
I would have just got the rejection and gone,
Screw
"See,
that then. Yeah.
I knew I was
Yeah, yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it would have had the opposite effect. Wow. Well, that's good.
But now,
good learn.
Now I'm in that uncomfortable place where I'm not sure how shit I am. Whether I'm just shit and lucky, or whether I've been unlucky but good.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in between.
Oh, it's difficult.
So who knows?
I think maybe
Who knows?
you're overanalyzing that a little bit there, Tom, aren't you?
Hey, do you know what was interesting, though? The story that I've sent in is based on something that actually happened.
Is
I
it?
remember
Oh,
when
right.
we've been talking to people about writing flash fiction, they say about tuning into something, some part of your experience.
A small truth, yeah.
Yeah, of yours that you can actually delve into. And I think that probably comes across, that you can sense that there's there's an anchor in reality rather than it's just someone making something up to create a story. So, yeah, that may well have played into it.
How exciting, Tom. That's
great,
amazing.
that, isn't it?
And presumably after that date, you can you'll be able to read it out on the podcast.
Hey, you know, what we should do on the podcast is I will read you both of them.
Oh,
yeah. And we guess which
or
one
we can
won.
see what we think. Is there a difference, or is it just luck, or...
Yeah, why one got
Yeah.
through. Yeah.
All right.
That's
a
good. I like
idea.
that.
That's a little feature, that.
Well, that deserves a little fanfare, I think. Speaking of fanfares, you know what else passed us by completely without fanfare? Not even a little toot. We had our 100th episode.
Yes.
I think it was the Flora Opal,
Which is
interview.
it's probably
that
quite
100th?
appropriate in many ways, isn't it?
I think
Yes.
it probably is.
Wow.
Our 100th was
Absolute nonsense.
I remember
it
us
was the
saying
1st
that
of
we
April.
should celebrate that milestone, and then
Yeah, I think I
and
said that
then not.
no one would care.
Yeah.
not even us,
That it's
as it
just
turned out.
As it turns out,
Not
I
even
was
we
right.
care.
That doesn't feel right, though. This is our 104th episode.
It's a lot of stuff, isn't it?
That's a lot of content.
No, actually, I think I was right. I don't think anyone is bothered. I'm trying to be bothered, but yeah. It's just a number, isn't it? I mean, we don't...
It's just
it
me.
is just,
Yeah, it's just making me feel old.
I mean, I think
is all.
part of it is that because we ran out of ideas around sort of 15, 16, that sort of episode,
Yeah.
it's less. Do you know what I mean? It's less of a thing, isn't it? We kind
Yeah.
of dragged on the
Yes.
average content for that long. It just becomes
Yeah.
noise,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Background noise.
Just one long
Yeah,
episode.
if you went
really.
and said to someone, "You've been treading water for 100 days now," you think, "Well,
I can't tell the
you know,
difference.
Is
what
that something
day
to
is it?
celebrate?
Yeah, just my legs hurt.
Exactly.
My legs generally hurt, and I don't like it. I mean, that's a good
Yeah.
analogy, Dave.
They might have been bitten off by sharks weeks ago, and I haven't got a clue.
Having said that, there will be someone listening right now who has listened to all of them. From the start, they were there at the start. They've not gone back. They've not found us later and gone through the back catalogue.
Yeah.
They were there at the start.
Yeah.
It's diehards.
Yeah.
I wonder who they are.
I don't know. Be the Jeffrey Harrisons of this world, won't it?
Yeah.
Our
I wonder.
faithful
might
lot. The
be.
faithful lot.
It
Do you know
might
how we should pay him back?
How?
Next episode,
Yeah,
we should read his work that he sent into us
we should.
We should.
and critique it. What could
We
say?
are due.
That's a good
aren't
Thank
we?
you for listening more than that.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Jeffrey G.N. Harrison, coming your way.
Yeah, next episode.
All right.
Okay,
That's
let's
a
do
plan.
Right, well, the next thing in this episode is we are going to have a little chat with a funny pun man, Darren Walsh, who is a stand-up comedian. And when I say stand-up, he's like 6'8", and he does loads of puns. He's just a pun machine.
He's the guy that you see online giving people puns in the street. Off-the-cuff puns.
Just dishing them out.
Do you like puns? They say yes. He says, give me a subject. They give him a subject. He does a pun. They either laugh, don't laugh, look confused, walk off, and then he does another one. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So yeah, this is when we called with Darren a little while back, just before Easter. Let's have a chat with him.
Go on then.
Well, thank you for joining us, Darren. I don't know when I first became aware of your stuff. I think it was on Twitter. And I thought, oh, I love a pun. We should get Darren on.
Twitter, of all places, yeah. I don't seem to have got much traction on Twitter, actually, but I'm glad you found me on there.
Well, I bloody liked it, so sod the rest of them, mate. Who cares what they think? So just to explain to people on Twitter, a lot of the clips you put on there are you in between gigs and just randomly on the street accosting people, asking them if they'd like a pun.
Politely asking them.
Yeah.
Kind of like a charity mugger, but less annoying.
And you just come up with puns. Now, we need to ask you,
Don't ruin the magic.
don't want to ruin the magic and delve behind the Wizard of Oz curtain early doors, but what's the balance of things you've already got in your head versus, oh shit, I've just come up with a good one there, in terms of delivering these random puns to people? Because they give you a word, don't they? It's kind of like a pun improv?
Yeah, when I first started doing it in 2020, well, I've been doing it since 2014, really. But when I first started filming them in 2022, I'd say about 80% of them I'd kind of already got in a database in my head,
Right.
sort of. So I've got like 5,000 odd jokes,
Wow.
and I've got quite a bad short-term memory. So, or long-term memory, I don't know which. I just got a bad memory.
Can't remember.
Medium
which
term's
one.
a little bit ropey too.
Yeah, I can't remember which is the bad memory I've got, long-term or short-term. But yeah, I have trouble like recalling these jokes. So what I do on stage is I ask someone for a subject or something like that, and that triggers something in the back of my sort of brain database, and for some reason it comes out. So that's sort of why I do it, and that's how it's kind of sort of spilled onto the street. But I'd say now that I've been doing it longer, I'd say the percentage is a lot lower. Like there's one I posted in Buxton, and it was about naan bread, and I said I can't remember how it went now, but I saw a naan bread flying a starship. It was the Paratha Khan. That sort of thing. That one was obviously that generally came into my head straight away, as you can probably tell by the quality of the joke. But
you get away with it because it's on the spot as well. People forgive a lot more, don't they? Do you some of the ones that you come up with on the spot? Do they ever work their way into the stage show?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I can't remember though.
If you can remember them, yeah.
You've got a very specific kind of memory, obviously.
I do.
Just for puns.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's interesting.
Have you put the bin out, Darren? I don't know. Can't remember. But I do have a couple of puns about bins. Does that help?
Yeah, they're both rubbish though. I mean, it is actually bin night, and I have just put the bins out, so that's weird.
We like to do a lot of research on our guests, so
yeah. Tom's been watching you for a while.
Yeah,
now.
You're in a van outside my house, aren't you? Yeah. What jokes have spilled on? There are some new ones. Let me just look at my new jokes list, because I've sort of got everything in databases and stuff like that.
Oh, you do actually have a physical database as well, a punthology.
Yeah. I asked ChatGPT to code me one, and it did. So that's what I use now. It's amazing.
Things have moved on from the Bob Monkhouse handwritten notes, really, haven't they? Onto a
yeah, you wouldn't get me.
Pun
you wouldn't get me on telly, upset that someone has stolen my book of jokes, because it's all in the cloud.
You will be when the robots, when AI comes and steals them, because you let them in the back door.
Well, yeah, that's another thing I'm looking into at the moment. Can I train an AI to learn how I write my jokes and then reproduce new ones for me? That's something I'm looking into.
Had any joy?
Not yet, no.
That's an interesting topic, that, Darren. Because that's some people would say that's wrong, wouldn't they?
Well,
and that you're a bad person.
You're a very bad person. And you're
well, this is the thing. Like the way I want to do it is like I could paste my database into ChatGPT or something like that and say, "Hey, learn this." But obviously, I don't want to do that. But the method I'm looking into is doing it offline. So you install all the stuff onto your computer locally.
Right. Wow.
All the models and stuff like that, and it does it that way. But I haven't sort of had time to properly look into that yet. But that would be how I'd do it. So it'd definitely be just on my machine.
Yeah, but is there not a tinge of sadness that you won't get the little spark of gratification when?
But you've kind of got to embrace it at the same time.
Yeah.
It is kind of the way things are going. But I mean, at the moment, if you ask ChatGPT to write you a joke, it completely fails.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's not very good at all, is it? Yeah.
So rest assured.
So where does the pun thing come from, Darren? How deep within your psyche in your formative years is it grown from?
I think when you start doing comedy, you don't really choose what style you do. It just kind of finds you.
Did you try other styles or not? Or was it?
Well, I started off doing a lot of musical stuff,
like
little songs and that. I'd trigger them from a foot pedal, which is really awkward because I'm 6'8", so I'd have to bend down, change the switch.
Long way away.
Yeah. And then, so it got really awkward kind of plugging stuff in, at gigs and amps and stuff. And in between doing that, I just started telling puns to sort of fill the silence, and then the puns have sort of overtaken, if you like, the one-liners. But I mean, looking back, I kind of failed all my GCSEs at school, or most of them. But the only thing I was very good at was catchphrase. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I used to be very good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only sort of game show I'd go, oh yeah, I'd get every single one.
Yeah.
And they are basically puns, reverse puns.
Yeah.
So I guess the writing was always on the wall for that style. Yeah, it wasn't a choice.
And did you ever consider approaching Mr. Chips to like do a double act for it, or did you just always go by yourself?
He's doing something with Mr. Bobby now, so
Cool. Yeah.
he wasn't available.
But it's a kind of a weird. The pun thing as a stand-up is, I think, a little bit weird in a way, because it's the only style of comedy where getting a good groan from the audience is kind of a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, yeah,
it's an acceptable reaction to a good pun. Is people who go, oh, and normally as a comic that would be nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm on stage, obviously I'm used to a lot of different sounds now, and I have to say I agree that a groan that doesn't necessarily mean the joke's failed, but when you hear someone go "wee," that's not a good sound. You know the sound I mean?
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
So it's fine, but "wee" is not.
Have you ever had any gigs where they've just not where they weren't expecting a punologist, and it's just all gone a bit weird?
Fuck yeah! Are you kidding? Can I swear? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was one gig. I mean, it was a corporate gig.
I was I nearly said in the question, like corporate gig, because from my experience, those are always the ones where there's a little bit of disconnect in what people are doing, expecting, and what happens.
Yeah, those are notorious, on the comedy circuit.
Notoriously terrible and very well paid.
Yes, yeah, it's just one of the necessary evils, But I turned up for one, and they were all round, these huge round tables like you get at weddings.
Yeah.
And because I do sound effects in my act as well, so I plug into the iBox on stage and stuff. And I arrived and said, could I, they're all eating their curry or whatever. And I said, could I just test the sound? And she went, could you test it as you come onto the stage? Because they don't know there's a comedian coming and it will ruin the surprise.
Music to my ears.
Yeah. So needless to say, I walk on, they just stop the music, and I walk on and just start, churning out one-liners. And they're, some of them are just facing the wrong way and thinking, what on earth is going on, Yeah, so quite a few like that. Yeah, mostly corporate.
How do you avoid unintentional plagiarism? Because there must be like a finite amount of wordplay, I would assume.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean the pun style of comedy does have a lot of what you call it, parallel
overlap.
Yeah, and I mean, if you find another comedian has already done it, you just drop it. It's quite straightforward, really.
You don't actively go out looking for that joke and seeing if someone's already done it. I'm guessing you just do it.
Well, this is the thing. If you come up with a great joke, if you start Googling every joke you come up with, you'll go mad. You'll just give up and get rid of the press.
You'll find it, or a version of it.
Yeah, so I just write the jokes and do them and try them at new material nights. And if another comedian says, "Oh, such and such has done that," then it's just dropped, basically.
And I guess it doesn't matter, does it? If you've not actively gone and copied it.
No, and I mean,
mistake, and then it's kind of
it's just not worth any comedians. It's basically career suicide to steal another person's joke. So anyone who's worth their salt, you just know they wouldn't steal it anyway.
Do you have a favourite punster?
Or do you listen to other people that do the similar kind of stuff, or do you see that as they're going to poison my well, so to speak?
Poison my well. I like that phrase. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I tend to generally not watch other pun acts. I mean, I wasn't that into stand-up comedy really when I started. I was more into TV stuff like The Fast Show and Big Train.
Yeah.
Those are my kind of comedy heroes. So I didn't know anything about stand-up when I started.
Yeah.
So it's not something like watching stand up, it hasn't been a major passion of mine for years. It's just something I've ended up
Did you
doing.
ever attempt to write sketches?
Yeah, I've got them all in my Google Docs. Just a long list of video sketches that I've written that I'll never film.
Because I was going to say, like, in the sort of skill, we're talking about writing, and I always think the skill with like puns is the brevity, isn't it? It's about honing that sort of setup line to the absolute perfect thing, so you get the absolute best payoff. So is that when you sort of hone that skill, do you find it sort of harder when you start going into something with a kind of longer length, like a sketch, or have you ever tried writing anything with like a longer format than that?
I mean, if have you seen Zach Galifianakis live from the Purple Onion? Have you seen that stand-up special?
No.
I have not.
It's really good because it's him doing stand-up, but it's kind of just they've edited in sketches into it,
Okay,
and it really breaks it up really nicely. That's one of my favourite stand-up specials. Not that I watch that many, but that one is really good. But if I ever did have an hour show, I would break it up with sketches like that. And I do have a lot of sketch ideas written from before I even started doing puns. I say, that I haven't even started filming. I'm just looking at it now, like. The Godfather, that famous scene in the bed.
Yes.
I had this idea of you see a horse head in the bed with a woman next to it. All you just see is the two heads, and then suddenly the horse wakes up and peels over the duvet, and there's a severed woman's head there, and he just starts going, "Moo!" And then the Godfather music comes in, stuff like that. But I just haven't got around to filming anything like that yet.
It's a lot more expensive and difficult, isn't it, to film something like that rather than just give her like a setup line and then give the punchline.
Yeah. Although that is very time consuming as well. The videos that I film on the street,
Yeah. It's quite hard to find people who are willing to have their heads chopped off just for a sketch as well. That's another problem.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you can do it.
I like how you think that's trickier than finding a horse that's really good at acting.
I feel like we should test Darren, because if people haven't seen what he does, then they won't quite get it. How do you feel about that, Darren? If we chuck some stuff at you, do you feel up to
any
it?
time of the day. Yeah. I mean, I'm just happy someone's listening. I'm not allowed to do puns at home, so.
All right. So we'll chuck some stuff at you then.
Yes, mate.
Do you want to ask me the question first?
What, the do you like puns question?
Yeah.
Do you like puns?
I do actually. Yeah, I'm glad you asked, Darren. Yeah.
Would you like one now?
Yes, please.
Give me a subject.
White goods.
White goods. I'm going to mess this up. It's all in the delivery, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What are white goods?
Good.
Fridge, freezer, washing machine.
They do get delivered.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah.
Right. I thought that was something to do with imports. I've just put 20 grand into an ISA. A lot of people thinks that's quite a lot of money to spend on a fridge, but it's a good brand. So.
Good.
I should also point out that I have surprising knowledge gaps, like not knowing what white goods are.
Yeah.
I just think that's the thing, isn't it? Because like we're talking about catchphrase, and what I always used to find with that is you watch it and you can't believe that these people don't know the answer. When you're sort of screaming at the screen, you must know that. And puns, I guess, it depends an awful lot on your knowledge base, like what you know, because it's about making connections between one thing and another thing. And if you don't have
It's
that
weird,
sort of
yeah.
repository of information, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, but it's also knowing enough to scrape by. Like, I don't watch football, but I've been learning enough about it recently, just because so many people give me that subject. What the stadium of each team is called and what the mascot is, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Rich pickings in there. Rich pickings. Anyway, Darren, ask me the question.
Oh, do you like puns?
Yes, I do.
Would you like one now?
Yeah. Go on then.
Give me a subject.
Snooker.
Oh, right on cue. I like to use anti-dandruff shampoo, and just to reach those difficult shots, head and shoulders above the rest.
Oh, I did a groan, Darren. I did a groan. I hope that's okay. That one made me groan.
You've grown on me.
I'm worried that we won't be able to turn him off after this, lads. That is kind of like, once we've...
I know.
Well, hopefully not.
That's the thing,
It's
isn't
good.
it? Yeah.
This is the gold.
Once you press the button.
I'm like a white good. I'm never turned off.
Go on, Dave. Get in there.
Oh, can I have a go as well?
Yes, you may. Do you like puns?
You need permission.
No.
Need to be asked.
Yes, I do.
This would be a terrible sketch, by the way. Give me a subject.
Bus routes.
I've got a bus that I named after one of the knights of the Round Table because it slants a lot. I was chatting to this girl on a bus once, and it went really well. I got off with her.
That's good.
That is good.
That's good. There we go.
I mentioned bus routes because the three of us, Darren, have all worked in local radio at one point or another, and I still do writing radio ads. And this is one of the 2 worst times of year when every other ad that I write is full of puns because everything is excellent. It's cracking. So I was wondering if you had any sort of Easter or egg-based puns that I wouldn't have heard or had to put into an advert at any point.
To be honest with you, it's not worth the whisk.
There we go. That's going.
I'm letting you off with that.
The Failing Writers podcast has been described as life-changing. I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Life-changing. Wow. Oh, hold on. They didn't say whether it was life-changing for the better or not.
Right, Darren, I just want to turn the tables on this side
okay.
now. I have come up with what I think, in general, are world-class puns. I'm available to hire to write some of your puns if you need, but let's go through this.
Noted.
So I'm going to read the start of the pun.
Yeah.
I want you to deliver the punchline.
Okay.
Okay, we'll start off with an easy one. You ready? I should ask you first. Do you like puns, Darren?
Yes.
Would you like to play a game about puns?
This is quite sinister. Yes.
Lovely. Number 1. Darren, I was trying to decide on a broom to buy the other day, so I...
Swept on it.
Looked in which magazine?
Oh, okay.
All
All
right. That's good.
Yeah, so I'm afraid yours got a groan there,
You should
Tom.
brush up on some more, really.
I've always wanted to be able to talk to animals, and I've learnt a tiny bit of pigeon. So that's a
Blimey.
That's a bit of a coup.
Okay, right.
I feel like I'm watching Blankety Blank.
I think this one might be the best one. The best one I've ever written. The best one you've ever heard, even, I would imagine. The World Unicycle Championship was amazing this year. Darren, you're going to like this. You are going to like this one.
I had a coin in my pocket, and then I saw a bike that was miles away. It was a penny far thing. I don't know. You're going to have to tell me this.
So I've got the World Unicycling Championship was amazing this year. It was one wheel, remember?
That's good.
We've got a tick in that box.
That's nice, that one. That's more of a...
I think that's the exact noise that I
like
made.
to go for the more intelligent crowd. These are definitely not for your corporate events.
I've got ones like that where the audience are like, they're rubbing their chin.
Give them a second to come up with,
Yeah.
They just miss it. Yeah, I really love those when you're doing it on the streets, and you give people the pun and they just completely miss
better
it.
when they miss it and go, eh? And then go, and they're walking off and go, oh, cats.
Yeah.
It's tricky with puns sometimes.
Yeah, see, the thing is, Tom, you're talking to the 2012 Luton Comedian of the Year here. So I had a quick,
You've done your
look
research.
online. It seems like you've got an awful lot of awards, Darren. Have those sort
Well-
of things been sort of helpful in your career? Do you think of it as each one? So I'm looking at 2012, 2013, 2014. You keep on getting them. Has that sort of helped propel you forwards in your career?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it helps you get gigs, but I'd say no in the long run. I think what helps you in your career is obviously social media now.
Yeah.
And just concentrating on your own act and just pushing it. Just keep pushing it forward, really. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I won Joke at the Fringe in 2015, and half of that was just I enjoyed half of it, and the other half was just craziness. Just
Yeah, because it's like a big national news event these days, isn't it? When they report the sort of the joke of the year.
yeah. You're just telling the same joke over and over on all these different radio stations.
Oh, it's an award for one joke.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I've won. It's pretty crazy to win an award for one joke when our show has like 100 jokes in it that are probably better than that one. But you're asked to repeat the same joke, and often on these TV and radio stations, they're not really. They haven't got good bounce. It's a bit awkward.
Yeah, because I suppose the thing about puns in particular is it's like that immediate surprise thing, isn't it? It's like, oh, this, and then I get to that. So that's going to really quickly wear out if you're having to do the same thing over and over again.
I think it's the momentum as well, isn't it? It's one after the other really helps.
Yeah, well, I was having this conversation with another comedian recently. It's like, Tim Vine.
Yeah.
I think what a lot of people don't realise is it's not his jokes that makes him funny. It's him. It's the fact that he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's and I've met him before. He's absolutely hilarious. Like without even doing any puns, he's just a funny person. So it's it's just the real, I think, appeal of it is just the fact that you're doing them on stage. If that makes any sense.
Do you spend? I'm sure you do, but like, how much time do you spend like working out the order of stuff when it comes to putting a stage show together? Getting that sort of build up of momentum.
Yeah, it's something I probably still need to work on. Like, I use up all my best jokes at the beginning, and then just hope it goes well.
Three minutes in, the crowd is bloody hell. He's good, isn't he? Isn't he good? He's good, isn't he? 20 minutes in, like, fucking hell, how long's he on for?
As a general rule, you're supposed to do your best jokes at the start and beginning, so you kind of try and work towards that. But again, like, this goes back to my weird memory. I have to just ask, this is why I interact with the audience in the show.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, have you been on holiday, or give me a subject, just to keep my memory churning out different types of puns, because I'll get to a point where I think I can't remember anymore.
I suppose that sort of ensures that every show is going to be different, isn't it? That sort of audience participation.
It is, it is somewhat, a certain percentage of it. But my shows in Edinburgh, they do have a lot of audio-visual stuff. Yeah. Like, I couldn't just stand there for an hour like I do on the street. It wouldn't work as well. So, in my show, it's broken up with lots of video animations and sound effects and stuff like that.
Yeah. Which probably doesn't come across when they take one joke and say it's the best joke of the festival.
Yeah, I know, but quite
online people go, that's not even funny, is it? How's that one?
Yeah, no, it's funny seeing how angry people get, But
they get really angry about it.
That's how the tabloids that's how they sell it. They go, this is the funniest joke of the Fringe. And like, no one thinks that.
It's like that Monty Python sketch, isn't it? Where they get the funniest joke and it's a killer.
Not even the person writing the article thinks it's the funniest joke. No one does. But they just want to get people angry.
It may have been at one point, but now it's not. Now look what you've done to it. It's not. It never will be.
57 times, it's just not funny anymore.
Just for context, and sorry to ask this because obviously it was a traumatic year for you, but what was that joke?
Oh gosh, I've just deleted all the German names off my phone. It's hands-free.
That's good.
That's good.
Funniest joke of the year, my ass.
I was going to let you try and fill in the punchline there.
Yeah, I was trying to keep up, but I didn't.
But it's true though, isn't it? There's nothing that's guaranteed that something is going to be not funny than somebody saying to you, oh, you've got to hear this. This is the funniest thing in the world ever.
This is funny, yeah.
No, yeah. It's like when you've discovered a really funny comedy show on TV and you get your mate to sit with you to watch it. You say, this is the funniest thing ever.
And you realise it's all falling a bit flat. And you go, no, give it, you need to, if you watch on to like third, fourth episode, then it really gets...
It's really soul destroying that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That happened to me with a fast show. I can't remember who it was, but I was crestfallen.
Yeah.
So I love the fast show.
Yeah, I think if someone doesn't get the fast show straight away, that is probably a good reason to end the friendshday, isn't it? Anyway,
yeah, it didn't work out, the relationship. No.
So what's your next gig?
Well, I'm actually going to be on Comic Relief Friday the 15th of March. They've given me my own segment.
Oh, well, this will be going out after that. So should we pretend that it went very well? So it went
Yes,
really well,
yeah,
did it?
it's,
One of the best on there, I would say.
it's just me, and I wasn't with any other comedians. Basically, they dressed me up in a Sainsbury's staff uniform, and I was pretending I had a name badge that just said pun provider, so people thought I worked there, and I was just going, sorry, I don't know where the bread is, but would you like a pun? That kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And I got a sweep toy, from Sooty and Sweep.
Yeah.
And I said, could I walk around with that and say it's supermarket sweep? And they went further, and they actually dressed the sweep in a Sainsbury's uniform.
That is
the
good.
name badge. So that bit is amazing.
Brilliant.
I suppose we can say, as this goes out after that, we could just say, what have you got in store now that you are basically the highlight of Comic Relief? What gigs are coming up next?
Let me look at my gigs list.
Are you kind of just touring all the time? You just going from place to place, or how does it work?
I'm just constantly filling my diary with dates in different cities. The fringes that crop up.
Yeah.
So I do Brighton.
So you're not doing like a tour of this show.
It's kind of like
you're generally around.
Yeah, I'm generally around. I mean, I'm going to do a tour. I'm just not quite ready to press the tour button yet, so I'm just sort of doing tour warm-ups in all these different cities and testing the water,
Brilliant. Well, we can only encourage people to get out there and go and see if they like puns.
Only if they like puns.
I would say if they don't like puns, probably
give it a miss, if you don't like puns. I actually put a pun in the description in the listing now, so they know what they're getting, you know what I mean? So it's like
it's like one of those GCXQ quizzes in the back of a paper, isn't it? Where you only know it's one if you can kind of work it out.
Well, before it'd be like all these old such and such winner, 4 stars, blah blah blah, and people don't really read that. So I just plonk a joke in there, and like if they laugh at that, then they should come. It's much easier.
Well, Darren, thank you so much for talking to us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, yeah. I don't do many podcasts, so this was a real treat.
Thanks for coming on, and I look forward to seeing the future of AI-based punnage.
Yeah. Yes. We should do another podcast where it's just I've trained an AI to be me. See how that goes.
Give us a pun about artificial intelligence before you go, Darren.
Are you familiar with AI? This isn't the joke.
Everyone's
trying to figure that out.
Yes. Nerdy.
Familiar.
Sorry, just to stop. Do you have that? Look, do you ever ask in your general life? Do you ask people a question and they just
they're waiting for the drop?
Is this a joke or?
Yep.
Where you go? I took my car to the mechanic today, and you go.
It was exhausting. Yeah. Well, I actually broke my arm in 2016 in Edinburgh. And because I fell off a bike, bruised my ribs. It was really bad. I was on stage in agony.
I don't get that.
But no one believed me. I was like,
don't get it.
I explained the whole thing. I was like, look, I fell off a bike, blah, blah, blah. I explained this in the show. And then afterwards, people would come up to me and go, what's the joke? I don't get it.
Yeah.
So, a joke about AI. I asked AI to generate me an image of an alpaca. It was the Dalai Lama.
Very good.
Dalai Lama.
I think part of what I enjoy about it when you do these on the hoof, off the cuff, off the cuff,
on the hoof,
off the hoof.
Going back to my horse sketch now.
When you do these off the hoof puns, is that you can hear your meter of talking fitting around how fast your brain's gone.
Yes,
quite nice.
Absolutely.
Quite
you
nice.
can almost see
the bit where the light bulb comes on, and you go searching. There you are, you bugger. Lovely. It's a beauty. It's a beautiful thing to behold.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you can actually physically see the cogs turn.
I tell you what, I just had a flashback to an episode we did ages ago where we were. Do you remember when we read some stuff and then we read some other stuff that had been generated by AI, and we had to try and guess which was which. I wonder if we could do that in the future with you, Darren, and have a sort of here's a pun that I wrote, and here's an AI based one.
Darren versus the robot.
Yeah, can you guess which is which?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because ChatGPT really can't write jokes. I imagine comedy is one of the hardest art forms to mimic, really,
Yeah,
or to learn.
there's a lot of joining of disparate things together, which isn't really its strong point, is it?
No.
To bridge the gap, to make it funny. Yeah.
If you ask it to be funny, it tends to. What did it do?
It did
with
some
those?
really bad pun, like really clumsy.
Yeah,
puns.
it was trying. It did actually go for the pun. But
I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? If once you have to explain why something is funny, it ceases to be funny anymore. Which I suppose, if you're trying to teach a computer like how a joke works, then I know it's going to be an incredibly difficult thing to do. So yeah, let's hope you get somewhere, and we can test you out in the future.
Yeah, I'm game.
Brilliant.
I'm up for
Well,
that.
keep us posted. Keep us posted. Darren, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for talking to us. Thanks for your
A
time.
pleasure.
Cheers, mate.
So that was Darren Walsh. Thanks, Darren, for coming on. Much appreciated.
Thanks for playing the game as well, for being a good sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously I came up with a few puns for him to try and guess the end there. And I believe that you lads have come up with some crackers to share with the class now. When I say crack, that sounded like I meant Christmas cracker, really rubbish
Well,
ones.
that's probably not far off the truth. Yeah.
I meant absolute
Probably
Bobby
quite apt.
Dazzlers. I bet they're great. So,
I don't know.
and we were saying in that, obviously, you can go. Do you think these are going to be the making you titter, or are we talking about groans, which are still good? Still good? Or
any sort of
the blank,
reaction would be
confused silence.
good. Yeah, just a reaction.
Dave, you were aiming quite low at the beginning before we started
I've
recording.
been
here,
aiming
didn't
quite.
you?
Well, do you know what? I haven't had a lot of time, and been
Here
a bit
he goes
worried
again.
about- I've been.
Oh, excuse
Do you know what? I'm worried. I've got a lot of money worries at the minute, and I was trying to work out why I wasn't making any money out of my savings account, but I just had no interest. Hey, you see?
in early.
There you go.
Gone in early.
It's some noise.
It's pretty
some
good.
noise
I like the
came
way
out of
you
it.
fed it in, just like we were just chatting.
That's the thing. Exactly.
Mine are not going to
because
work like that.
Well, there's nothing worse, I think, than someone saying to you, "Here, I've got a joke for you now," because you're setting up the anticipation of,
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
going to be funny, and then it's not. It's a big letdown, isn't it? So
Yeah. Anyway, Dave, hold that thought, because John, you've got a joke for us now, haven't you? A
Yeah.
pun. You've got a pun for
I haven't,
us.
but I was just going to mention the fact that have you noticed? I've been going to restaurants recently, and so many restaurants these days they don't have like real tea lights on the table anymore. They've just got like the LED spotlights, and I just think that's scandalous.
Oof, nice.
do you know what?
That's all right, that.
Yeah.
That's nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's clever.
Yeah.
That's clever. That
I've got
one.
a 3-part pun. Do you want a 3-part pun?
Oh, my God. Right, okay.
I think
How's
I'm
that?
reaching
Go on
a bit
then.
with this
Go
one.
on.
But
A triple.
this true
triple
story. I
part.
was true story. I was loading up my mule Derek the other day when he started getting a bit frisky with one of the lady mules, and all the gear I'd loaded flew off, and I shouted, "Book a room!" But this morning, I couldn't feed him because there was no hay delivery again, and I was like, honestly, this is the last straw. So I started feeding him oats, and now oats is all he'll eat. So I've changed his name to Don Quixote.
I tell you what, that was
Yeah.
seamless. That was like, that's like a
I think
show.
you should go
right
on the
there,
street,
innit?
John, and ask people if they like puns. Tell them to give you a subject,
Until
and then just
someone
keep
says
going
donkey.
until someone says donkeys. Yeah. Cars, get
I
lost.
did wonder
No.
that
Next.
the first
Anyone
time
else?
I saw
Give me a
Darren.
subject.
I did wonder how many he gets bad. You know, he just like dries or just doesn't come up with anything, or it's just
Yeah.
terrible,
Yeah.
or he just doesn't have one at all. So he's just waiting for someone to say football or whatever. But he's actually quite good, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well,
Turns out.
but there's a lot of video editing goes on, isn't there? You know, you just cut out the ones where you can't
Well,
think
that's
of
it.
anything.
You see, that's it.
It's like I remember when I first started in radio and found out about I don't know if we can reveal this radio secret about request shows. I remember learning that and thinking, what a bloody cheat. That essentially they had all the songs lined up ready to go, and then they just wait for someone to ring up and request that song, and then they just play that and there we go.
What?
Yeah.
It's such a
Oh,
sad state of
what?
humanity, isn't it? That they can sit
really
there
is.
and they know full well if they wait 5 minutes, someone will ask for the song that they've already played 13
Yeah.
times in the past 3 hours. I mean, come on. Dave, have you got any more, Dave?
Well, I mean, not many. Although I went and gave blood the other day, and they do a little test to get you, because I didn't know my blood group. But turns out that all atheists have the same blood group. It's Jesus negative.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got anything to follow that
No.
with? Anything about donkeys or anything like
No,
that? Nothing.
couldn't squeeze a donkey into that one.
I was driving around Luton the other day.
On a donkey.
Got 2 TVs, 3 pairs of trainers, and a Breville sandwich maker.
Right, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's one of those where
Yeah.
you have to be very careful with your pronunciation up front, otherwise you fuck the whole thing.
Yes.
Are you saying I got it wrong?
No, I'm just saying.
It was close.
You need to give people just enough thread to do it.
It's true. I got another of them.
Oh, you got more, have you?
Well, that's cause, right. Here's another issue with it, because we know there's a pun coming. Also, your concentration goes to trying to work out what you think the pun's going to be, which sometimes draws away.
Yeah,
from
that's
the
true.
actual pun. I was thinking along the lines of a Bedford van or something like that. So the danger of puns. That wasn't a pun.
Yeah.
That was just an observation.
Give us your best one. Because I assume you haven't yet. So give us your best
Oh,
one.
I might have done actually. I mean, they're all great, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is quite nice. This is, a little bit different. She was an extra strong, plain-looking, self-raised woman who worked in the granary, said Tom, using over-flowery language.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That works.
Yeah?
Most damning comment, isn't it, by people? If you ever speak or work with anyone that writes comedy and they just lose any ability to actually laugh and just go, that works.
They just nod.
So how many of those boys do you think would make it into a set, like Darren's set, say?
I don't know. I think you could hang a whole show off Don Quixote, to be honest. I think
If he was
that's
dressed
what
up, you were dressed up as well.
If you came in on a donkey.
I think that's what you call the show.
You could be like a pantomime horse, a pantomime donkey. One of you at the front is doing the setup, and then the arse end is doing the punchline.
That's quite
doing
good.
The pun.
Hey, that actually
That would
reminds me of something. While I was messing about with puns, I actually came up with a new joke form that I'm going to call, I'm calling odd belong jokes. Odd belong jokes. But they have a very simple format. You ask a question about who a thing belongs to, and then I answer it. So I'm going to send you the questions to ask me. You can take it in turns.
Yeah, is that a new joke format? You feed us a question to ask you.
We have to ask you a specific question for you to come up with an answer off the top of your head.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's how a lot of jokes. That's a lot of jokes.
Is this bit meant to be not in the podcast so people listening don't know this and then think you're really clever? I don't know.
Oh yeah, we probably should have set that up differently, shouldn't we? Damn.
So these are
Too
odd.
late now.
An odd bit. So I don't understand.
You won't understand until we
we're
get
just gonna
going.
have to-
They don't really
Yeah,
make any
I was gonna
sense.
say
They don't make any sense.
Go on, Dave.
I'll do the first one then. Whose is this contact?
Lens.
Right, I'm sorry.
Right,
2
okay.
seconds too late there. Whose is this bread?
Mix.
Okay.
Nice easy one for you next.
Oh, yeah.
Whose is this Mercedes?
C-class.
Benz.
Oh, whose is this disco?
Birdie, do you want to take this?
Is this disco? I don't know.
Dan's.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So this one's probably the weakest.
Whose is this iceberg?
Letty's.
Oh my God. I don't know how much that's going to catch up. That feels like
You're very limited, to be fair. You're
Yeah.
very limited. I told Katie those, and she did come up with one.
yeah.
Whose is this skid? Mark's.
Mark. Oh, Katie.
Marks.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was quite good.
yeah.
Off the top of her bonce. Yeah. So what do you think of my new joke form? I mean, I've kind of covered it. I don't think there are any more.
Kind of, yeah.
There probably are a few.
If anyone can think of any more, whack it on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, we'd like
so it's
to
a
know.
very simple format. Whose is this? Insert the object, and then that object has to then link to a name that either is or sounds like something to do with that object. That's just brilliant. brilliant. It's got the hallmarks of like a Victorian parlour game that kind of went out of fashion.
It really does.
It does, yeah.
But you sat
massively
without any
convoluted
technology or
and
electricity.
pointless.
You sat in a dark room with people that you're stuck with day in, day out. You've been
with nothing else to do.
That could catch on. Yeah.
It's that or reading a book,
It
isn't
is.
it, pretty much?
Do you know what? There's you can keep going though. Whose is this sheer precipice?
Cliffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite enjoying this
This is
game.
brilliant, John. This is absolutely brilliant.
Do you want some headlines? I've got 3 headlines for you.
What do you mean? What are you doing now?
Pun news stories.
Oh, it's what? 2 Ronnie style.
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes, that's right.
He thought he'd come up with another brand new joke form here, when you've just wiped the legs from underneath him.
Sorry.
Oh, copied off the really famous comedians from 40 years ago, John. Is that what you've done?
Yeah, but they didn't invent odd belongs, did they? So,
no. Well, they may have done. They may have
Unlucky.
discarded them
No.
after doing so. They may have done that and then stepped away from them.
No, that's rubbish. Yeah,
But,
don't do that.
yeah. Go on then. What are your headlines?
German Christmas bread is being rationed after the discovery that the majority of it was stolen. A man giving out lapel pins was killed today as part of a badger cull, and the drummer hit the hi-hat with such powerful symbolism.
Right.
That one's less a headline.
It's not newsworthy,
I
is it,
think
massively?
that last one could do with a bit of reworking, to be honest. But
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a good one. This is my favourite, actually. I totally missed it. It's at
here's
the
another
top.
question. What do you call a man with too much time on his hands?
Come on, John.
Don't you find Heinz selling beans in plastic pouches is just a bit uncanny?
Yeah. So when you're doing the stand-up tour? Actually, speaking about the stand-up tour,
Yeah.
after our interview with Darren, I sent him an email because I put that list of puns together. There's a few more on there as well. And I said, right, it's going to be really interesting, this, because we're talking about in the interview about how do you know you're coming up with new stuff or what's good or not good.
Yeah.
So I said, right, I gave him 15 puns, and I said, be dead honest, like really honest. How many of these, and steal them if you want to, I don't care, how many of these make it into your show? So how many do you think he said out of 15 high-quality puns? Maybe 10 high-quality puns and 5
It's going to be
fillers.
high because you wouldn't even be mentioning it if it was low.
Yeah, that's true.
You wouldn't have brought it up.
I'll go 15. I'll go 8.
I was going to go 8. 9.
I would say, and bless him, he wrote lovely little comments about all different ones for different reasons. I would say really 1.
No, that's not a bad hit rate, though.
1.
Yeah.
Just 1. Just 1. And in that annoying way I said before, he just went, yep, that works. Which was the unicycle one that we did in the interview. World Unicycle Championship.
Interesting.
One wheel,
Yeah,
remember.
that was a good
it's
one, to be
perfect
fair.
little round pun.
Yeah.
It
But
is.
the interesting thing was, it wasn't that he was like, yeah, no, that's rubbish. No, that's rubbish. It was that he was saying, oh, I've done that one. Yeah, I did one bit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, someone else did that one.
Yeah.
That's been done.
That's the problem. isn't it?
Literally,
Yeah.
probably another 12 of them were just, yeah, I've done it. We put done similar. Yours works too, but it's too close to that.
But if you spent that much time thinking about puns, you're going to have hit most of them, aren't they? Because there is a limited supply.
But that's what I
isn't there?
mean. That's the extra thing then, isn't it? About doing it as an act and being able to go out and do it to an audience that also has some working knowledge or likes that kind of comedy because they've come to see you. So they've probably gone to see Tim Vine.
Yeah. So they've seen them all already.
Yeah. So then that puts an extra layer of standing up and doing it, doesn't it? I just thought it was really interesting how much of it that I kind of, I'd done that over a long period of time of just kind of, I've had an idea for one, I'll jot it down. Not like, having to come up with a new act every 6 months to take on tour or whatever.
That's a good window into his world, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
That you kind of think, I could do that. I can come up with a pun. Yeah, I can invent a whole new genre of joke. I could do that. But you can't. But there's other barriers once you get past that. It's not just a case of going, I've come up with a pun.
Yeah.
So I've come up with 15 puns, and only one of them really makes the mark.
But I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? If you choose, because it is almost like a sort of closed genre in a way, isn't it? If you're going to say, right, this is my style of comedy, I'm going to do puns, you're putting those limits on you straight away as to what you can do. So even if you're sitting down day in, day out, thinking of words that sound a little bit like other words, there's only ever going to be a small amount of stuff you can do.
So there we go. I think we've. Oh, it's been interesting that. Yeah.
Covered
Yeah.
all bases.
Have you got any more brand new joke forms or anything? for
No,
us,
that's
John?
it now.
No,
I'm
God,
dry.
just the
That
one.
I'm
Just-
dry.
yeah. Well, that's,
Yeah.
I like that. I was a bit dubious of that to start off with. I have to say, sorry for that,
That's
because
all
I
right.
actually think it's quite interesting. That I like it.
That is, do you know what?
I like it.
That is the sort of thing that, with a bit of luck, could quite easily take off on the old social medias.
I think you could do a full
know
book
what I
about
mean?
that, John, like a little
Yeah,
toilet book. You know, where people read the book on the loo and it's just like little funnies or whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or just do a separate Twitter
So
account.
a 5-page book with
No,
one on
'cause,
each
I mean,
page.
Question: did those come to you really quickly, or were they did you have to kind of?
Yeah, no, I think 3 came really quickly, and then the others were like, wait, I can't think of any more. That's it. And then they just sort of popped into my head during the
Yeah.
day.
There's got to be some foreign names that could fit into this category.
Oh, that'd be
somewhere.
good. Yeah, I
Mm.
bet there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Can't think of any right now.
No. Whose is this individual item? Juan's. Yeah, there's got to be. There's got to be.
Sorry,
It's
I
got-
know we just said about sending them in, but unfortunately we've already hit the best possible. So there's no point anymore. There's no point at all.
That's it.
The whole
It's done.
thing's ruined. It's gone. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go.
But yeah, yes, let's get that going. But have we got anything more to discuss here today?
I tell you, how can you even go anywhere from that? I think we just need to wrap it up and get out of here. Need to leave people with that because it's a wonderful gift that John has given us. This is a massive moment in people's lives. This is the first time they've heard an odd belong joke. They need to
you're right.
process.
They need a bit of
it. Yeah,
silence.
exactly.
Just to think it through.
Yeah.
Well, let's provide that silence by buggering off
Mm-hmm.
and saying thank you very much for committing time to listening to us, waffling on.
Yeah.
We're thrilled that you're listening. And if you do enjoy what we do, tell some writery friends about us.
Absolutely.
And if you didn't, tough.
And if you've only just found us, you've got like 100 and odd episodes to listen to, apparently.
Yeah.
That's it, 103, mate.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Right, come on. Let's
See
go.
you all next time. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Hello.
Where's everybody gone?